The Princess and the Thief, Chapter 2. The next morning, soft sunlight crept through the curtains and danced across the floor. Ralph and his sister were already awake. They moved quietly, not wanting to disturb their new friend. But as Ralph passed by where Jack lay, he suddenly froze. The blanket had slipped, and beneath it, long golden hair spilled across the pillow like sunlight itself. His eyes widened. Ralph leaned in closer. His heart pounded. It wasn't Jack, it was a girl, a beautiful girl. Her face was calm and peaceful, her skin glowing in the morning light. It was the same face from the royal posters. The Missing Princess. Ralph's sister tiptoed over and gasped when she saw the hair. They stared at each other in silence, eyes wide with shock. "Is that?" his sister whispered. Ralph nodded slowly. "I think that's the princess." For a moment, neither of them knew what to do. They tiptoed into their tiny kitchen and sat down, whispering urgently. "What do we do now?" his sister asked. "I don't know," Ralph whispered back. He ran a hand through his hair. "She lied, but she also saved me, and she slept on the floor with us. She didn't act like a princess at all." His sister nodded. "She looked so sad last night." They sat quietly, the smell of morning tea rising in the air, both unsure of what to say and what would happen next. Moments later, Jack, the princess in disguise, walked in, yawning and rubbing her eyes. She sat down beside them with a soft smile. "Good morning," she said. But both Ralph and his sister were staring at her a little too wide-eyed. Jack raised an eyebrow. "Why do you both look so startled?" Ralph cleared his throat. Maybe it's just too early for us." His sister nodded quickly, trying not to smile. To change the subject, Ralph asked, "Hey Jack, why do you think the princess ran away?" Jack paused for a moment, her smile fading just a little. "Maybe," she said softly, "maybe she wanted to see the world beyond the palace walls, to know what real life feels like." There was a long silence. Ralph and his sister looked at each other and smiled. They didn't say a word, but in that quiet moment they made a silent promise they would keep her secret, even if she never knew they knew. The next day, Jack followed Ralph again for work. This time they went to help the local butcher at the market. Ralph walked with sharp focus, cutting and weighing the meat quickly, wrapping each piece in paper and tying it with string. Meanwhile, Jack greeted customers with a cheerful smile, writing down the weights and prices neatly in a little notebook. Her elegant handwriting surprised even Ralph. By the end of the day, the butcher beamed with delight. "You two are sharp and hard-working," he said. "Here, take this." He handed them a whole kilogram of fresh meat as a thank-you gift. On their way home, they laughed and joked, their hands full and their hearts light. Then Jack paused. In a small shop window, she saw a display of beautiful quilts, each one hand-stitched with colorful patterns, roses, stars, vines, and birds. Her eyes sparkled. "Go ahead," she said to Ralph. "I'll catch up." Curious, Ralph nodded and continued home. Jack stepped into the shop and chose 3 of the most beautiful quilts she could find, one for Ralph, one for his sister, and one to remind her of this simple, joyful life she had come to cherish. When Jack returned home with the three beautiful gilts folded neatly in her arms, Ralph and Betty were shocked. Ralph stood in surprise. "Jack, you didn't have to. That must have cost a lot." He felt a twinge of guilt. He knew now that she was the princess. Spending money on them, it didn't feel right, but Jack shook her head firmly. "No," she said with a smile. "I wanted to. You two are the kindest people I've ever met. This is my way of saying thank you." Ralph stared at her, speechless. Betty hugged the quilt to her chest and smiled warmly. "It is so soft. Thank you, Jack." That evening, Betty began to cook dinner, but Jack insisted on helping. "Please let me help," she said. "I'm not useless, you know." Betty laughed. "Okay then, let's see what you can do." To her surprise, Jack was actually very good at cooking. She chopped vegetables like a pro and seasoned the stew perfectly. "You've done this before," Betty said, amazed. Jack gave a small smile. "I had the lessons, but it's different here. More real." That night, the three of them sat down and shared a hearty, delicious meal filled with laughter and warmth. It wasn't just dinner, it was a moment of family. Later that night, the small room was quiet. Jack laid down first. Later that night, the small room was quiet. Jack lay down first, tired from the long day of work. Within minutes, she was fast asleep, the soft new quilt tucked around her. Her golden hair, still slightly damp from the evening wash, peeked out from under her cap. A while later, Ralph entered the room. He knelt down beside her and gently looked at her face, so peaceful, so beautiful, so full of mystery. "Why did you run away, princess?" he whispered, though she couldn't hear. With a soft hand, he carefully removed her cap so her wet hair could breathe. Then, without another word, he lay down beside her, keeping his distance, his heart filled with a mix of wonder and worry. And under the quiet roof of a small home, two unlikely souls drifted into sleep, unaware that their fates were intertwining with every passing moment.